Hi, this is Martin Lopez from Friends of Success, and I got a really good friend of mine on the show today, and his name is Dr. Rafe Eric Biggs. I've known Rafe, I've known you for, wow, about 15 years or so,
Mhm.
and we had a lot of fun when we were younger. I remember when
Sure
you
did.
left San Diego, and I kind of always kept in touch with Rafe, and then one day I was looking for you because I hadn't talked to you in a while, and I came across a blog, and it was a story, and there was a story about you that you had gone to India, and you went on a 10-day yoga and meditation retreat, and you really got hurt. Um, so I'm actually for me rather than me tell the story. Everybody, this is Rafe. Say hi, Rafe.
Hey, everybody.
And why don't you tell us your story? Tell us what happened.
Sure. In 2004, I took off and basically put everything in storage. I was living in San Francisco, Sausalito, California, and wanted to travel and really wanted to explore the world. So I left and went to Thailand for about 3 months and was exploring different healing modalities and enjoying the culture and learning about myself and just what does it mean to be in the world and not have an agenda. And part of that journey took me to India. I'd been studying yoga and meditation for years and was really inspired to go to the motherland where yoga has started. And so I went to India and studied with different teachers there. That journey eventually led me to Dharamsala, which is where the home of the Dalai Lama is, right at the foothills of the Himalayan mountains. And
Wow.
I did a 10-day silent retreat there in Tibetan Buddhism, which was really powerful. And I got a lot of clarity on my life. I kind of got a sense of what a lot of my suffering, where it was coming from. And just a real brief overview of the essence of Buddhism is that the source of our suffering comes from our attachments to having things be a certain way or our aversion to avoiding the things that we don't want. So we either hold on to what we do want or we try to avoid what we don't want. And when we're allowing things to be just as they are, the suffering begins to dissolve. And so I got that at a very visceral level in my body after this 10-day retreat. And I felt really clear and really excited. I was just really looking forward to come back to California and kind of reinventing my life. And so I was on a patio rooftop. I think it was a day or two after the retreat with some friends, and we were getting to know each other verbally because we hadn't spoken in 10 days.
Yeah.
So we were hanging out and having some dinner and just celebrating, enjoying the beautiful spring night. And I noticed there was no guardrail or around the perimeter of the rooftop. So instinctively, I picked up a candle. I went to go place it by the edge of the roof. And as I walked towards the edge, I miscalculated where I was and I stepped off.
Wow.
And I fell only about 10 feet. But the way I landed, I fell and broke my neck. And instantly I became paralyzed. So that was the beginning of a whole spiritual journey that has taken me on an amazing path. I mean, I've learned so many things. It's been extremely challenging. I mean, in one moment, my life completely changed from being able to walk and take care of myself and be totally independent to being, fairly dependent on other people for my most basic needs of, I can't get out of bed in the morning. I can't go to the bathroom myself. I can't take a shower. And over the last 7 years, I've learned to become more and more independent,
Hmm.
but it's also taught me really to value the people around me, the people that are my friends and my family, not to take things for granted, and also taught me a lot about overcoming adversity. I mean, it's been a big journey.
What were some of the strategies that you used to help you overcome some of the adversity that you found yourself in?
Well, let's see strategies. I would say one of them is just really about getting to a place of acceptance. Now, for many people, when something like this happens, and it could be anything from losing one's job to losing their home to losing, someone's getting ill. I mean, there's so many things that happen in life that cause adversity, and a big part of it is going through this process of finding to being at a place of acceptance. And for a lot of us, we have emotions that come up, we have anger that comes up, we have denial,
Absolutely.
which is totally natural. And part of it is going through those emotions and fully expressing those emotions, excuse me, those emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes we feel the anger, we feel the frustration, and we feel like, oh, it's not okay for me to express that. And what I would tell people is express it. Do it in a safe and a very in a safe environment where you feel it's okay to yell and get angry and get upset. Not necessarily another individual, but allow yourself to fully feel that. Because the more you suppress something, the more it becomes amplified and it takes over. But when we express it, we'll get it out of our body. And I'm a big believer that the more we can live in our bodies and less in our minds, the more healthy we're going to be. And so much of us are conditioned to live in our head. And I'll tell you, being in the mind can be a scary place
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
it can take over. Our thoughts can take over and take us down these pathways that are completely, not even in reality. So by really tapping into more of your feeling self, and I'll tell you a great strategy for that is right now, if you're sitting there, you can either stand up, if you can stand up. If you can't, you can do it sitting down. Just put your attention, and actually you can place your hand about 2 inches below your navel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So is a
And
second chakra or something?
yeah, well, yeah, people call it different things. It's actually your hara, your center,
Uh-huh.
your dantian. So
Uh-huh.
different cultures call it different things, but it's literally your center of gravity.
Mm.
Like when women get pregnant, that's where the baby lives,
Mm.
because that's where you have the greatest ability to move. If you're a martial artist or if you're an athlete, when you move from that center, you're unstoppable. I mean, you have so much more ability to move with, if conflict comes in your field of vision, you can move at a much more a graceful place. But
Mm.
that place also will allow you to tap into more of your center of your emotions. And there's a place where you can find a sense of calm and a sense of power. So I invite people to put your attention to that center and just start to breathe. Take some deep breaths and breathe into that center. Just right now, as you're breathing and just feeling your attention drop, and you can place your hand right below your navel. And I invite you to do this with your eyes open. Most people close their eyes.
I
You can
close
keep
my
your
eyes
eyes
for all
open.
this stuff, so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Try to keep your eyes open because what you'll notice is that as you drop your attention, you may notice and you tune into your sensations in your body. Like notice what do you feel in your body? Where do you feel energy either streaming and moving, or maybe you feel things stuck. Maybe you feel hot. Maybe you feel cold. Maybe you feel tingling. Maybe you feel nothing. It's all fine. It is what it is. But just begin to notice the sensations in your body. And by noticing the sensations in your body and beginning to bring your breath down to your center, you may begin to notice that the world begins to slow down a little bit. And whatever you're feeling, you now have more resource to feel it in a way that feels safe, in a way that feels more powerful. So that's a practice. I highly encourage people to spend, a few minutes every day just breathing and just putting your attention in your center. And what it'll do is it'll pull yourself from your thinking mind down to your feeling self. And it's also a way to actually have more choice in life. Because what I found for myself is that when I'm centered, I can face conflict and not avoid it. Because for most people, when we have something that we're dealing with that's confronting or conflicting, we either want to like run away, we
Mm-hmm.
want to fight it, or we freeze.
Yeah.
Fight, flight, or freeze. And this is another response, which is become centered and then face and move into the conflict. So let's say, your wife comes up to you and says, Martine, I have a conversation I need to have with you about the kids, or I need to talk to you about something. And immediately you may feel like, oh shit,
Yeah.
what did I do wrong,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
When my teacher, Richard Strozzi Heckler, he's an Aikidoist. He would call this a grab. It's like literally feels like somebody grabs you,
Mm-hmm.
And when you get grabbed, you know,
It
our
feels like your
energy
breath
goes
kind of
up.
almost leaves you and there's the
Yeah, yeah.
tension.
Some
Yeah.
some people that they actually leave their bodies. Some people want to fight. Some people want to run away. And this is notice what happens when
My
you feel.
wife always wins those fights.
Yeah, yeah, right. And so you just notice what automatically happens in your body, and then you bring your attention down to your center, breathe from that place, and then literally face the person and say, okay, what do you want to talk about? But give yourself a moment to get centered. And the goal in life isn't always to be centered because we're going to get thrown off center all the time.
Yeah.
But one of the goals is to come back to center.
Mm.
And
That's
so for
really
me, that's
powerful.
a very powerful strategy for dealing with adversity.
That's a real powerful statement because I think most people, and including myself, before you made this statement right now, is the thought was I always want to be centered, and what you said is that's not the goal. You're not always going to be in that
No.
place. It's the goal is to be able to keep coming back to that place.
And it's not even it's a goal, but it's a practice.
The practice is
So
okay.
it's a practice. So one of the things that I teach is I teach what are called somatic practices, and the word somatic comes from the Greek word soma, which
Uh-huh.
means the living body in its wholeness.
Which is also
And
your company.
yeah, yeah, exactly. My company is called Soma Evolution. You can look it up, somaevolution.org, and we're all about generating transformative change. And primarily, it's through practices because whatever you practice, you become. So you're always practicing something, whether
Hmm.
you're aware of it or not. So the more you become aware, and that's really the first step is awareness. That's why I say have people begin to become aware of what are the sensations that are occurring in your body. And you become more aware, then you'll have more choice and you'll be able to choose different actions.